Well, surely they've got to listen now. Let's begin. The article says that cold calls, when salespeople or scammers phone the public without their consent to flog financial products and other stuff like that, will be banned in the UK. Some 400 investigators will be hired to hunt down the fraudsters as ministers step up efforts to bring to an end the £7 billion loss to scammers each year. Now, blanket ban, I think that means blanket ban, on both legitimate and illegitimate cold calls selling financial products will be rolled out. This is so that anyone who receives a call trying to sell them products such as cryptocurrency schemes or insurance will know it's a scam, the government has said. Government officials will now launch a consultation to work out what products will be covered by the ban. And as part of a new fraud strategy, ministers want to move to a more intelligence-led policies, working with telecoms regulators to weed out the spoof phone numbers. Oh, hang on, it's just in. Scammers say they're really scared. Anyway, Ofcom will help make the tech needed to do this, stopping scammers from impersonating banks, telephone companies and other illegitimate businesses, with 1 in 15 people falling prey to fraudsters who sometimes peddle too good to be true insurance and cryptocurrencies. Ministers, though, want victims to get their cash back, and banks will also be given new powers to delay payments from being processed, giving them the time to investigate and people to get their money back. SIM farms, which is mass texting devices that hold multiple SIM cards, will also be closed for good as part of the plans. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak today said, "Scammers ruin lives in seconds." Well done, Rishi. Nothing gets past him, does it? Deceiving people in the most desperate ways in order to line their pockets. The time has come to put the fraudsters out of business, and that's what I'm determined to do, he added. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he was also determined to get on with Brexit and burn a load of EU law. But as far as I'm aware, that exactly hasn't happened yet. And of course it's hardly likely to, now that he has shackled us to the EU via the back door of Northern Ireland, in my opinion. So when he said determined to finish Brexit, I didn't mean he meant to F it up. But anyway, you would have thought, wouldn't you, that after basically 100 years of the phone being around, or actually maybe even more than that, it's 1850s, 40s, something like that it came out, as far as I know, but you'd have thought in all that time something like this would have been done much sooner, wouldn't you? Probably at the time when the internet first came out, or even WhatsApp and other things like that, but surely since then, scam calls and whatever else have just been increasing at a ridiculous rate, and therefore, of course, police and other organisations that will deal with this have probably been busier than a cucumber in a women's prison recently, haven't they? But like anything to do with this government or any previous one in the last 10 or 20 years, I'll just hold my breath and wait and see exactly what happens. And hoping the ban will come in sooner rather than later. Because it's just getting ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, I don't know about you, but I get either a dodgy call or a text at least a couple of times a week. Either saying that I've done something like a tax fraud or something like that and must press 1, which makes me laugh, or they have of course lost my parcel and need to give it to me or something like that. It's just absolutely bonkers, isn't it? And surely they must be stupid themselves if they think that people are going to continue falling for this. I know admittedly some unfortunately do, but hopefully the majority of the public is actually wising up to their horrible tactics. Even ambulance chasers, when they ring you up, but it's ones like that I like to have a bit of fun with. I say, no, I haven't had any accident at all, and of course they say something like, are you Superman? If you haven't had any accidents in the last 3 years or 6 years or whatever. To which I'd reply something like, yes, I've just flown off and had a good time with your mum while you were talking to me, but if any of you guys have done something similar, please let me know in the comments and we can all have a decent laugh. Cops, or police as they're known in this country, are too lenient on climate protesters who break the law, as some poll has found. Home Secretary Sola Braverman last week told woke police to focus on nailing crooks. PM Rishi Sunak hails a new law from today which could mean 6 months in jail and big fines for activists who glue themselves to roads or buildings. In the poll, 44% think police are just too lenient with eco-yobs. Just 13% though say they are too harsh. I guess that's if they don't put enough sugar in their tea maybe, but anyway. And 46% want tougher sentencing. The public say not enough is done to tackle antisocial behaviour and knife crime. Tory voters want tougher action, while Labour voters are more sympathetic to activists. Well, there's a surprise, eh? Given Keir Starmer an election headache. YouGov, though, polled 3,031 adults between April the 26th and April the 28th. And of course, our unelected Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, says, we are all outraged by scenes of eco-warriors causing havoc in stunts across the UK. They have set out to inflict maximum misery. Hard-working people haven't been able to get to work, earn money for their families, and ambulances and fire engines have been blocked, unable to help people in need. And instead of catching criminals, the police have spent hundreds of hours manning this disruption. Today we have brought in the new criminal offences to put people who try to carry out these guerrilla tactics behind bars, and I am determined not to let selfish protesters get away with causing disorder and misery. So today, we end the chaos. Well, let's just hope that actually works. Although, to be honest, something tells me it might do, because I guess this probably is a coincidence, but from what I remember hearing, there was about 50 or so Just Stop Oil or Extinction Rebellion, I think it was Just Stop Oil, protesters the other day were apparently given a Section 12 or something like that order to clear the streets, because apparently they were near Buckingham Palace with, of course, preparations needing to take place for King Charles III, or King Charles III if you're Irish, coronation. But of course, whether or not it will actually continue after then is another matter. But the thing is though, if they can do it for then, they can surely do it on any other day. And don't get me wrong, I know people do have the right to protest. I know that, and that's perfectly fine. But when it gets in the way of people's lives and actually causes a massive disruption and starts affecting people's livelihood and businesses or whatever, that is surely going way beyond what could possibly be seen as a peaceful protest, and therefore something really does need to be done about it. They can't keep getting away with this disruption. But of course, I'm not going to hold my breath and fully expect the police to turn back into T-boys that they have been in the past. It is just annoying though, isn't it, that when there's something is happening, like an event or a coronation or whatever, that seems to be the only time when the police are actually willing to act, rather than just enforcing the 1980 traffic law, which, as far as I'm aware, says that you can't actually block traffic and just haul them off the streets. No doubt, of course, they'll say, "Oh, it's my human rights, you can't do that, you naughty man." But I'm sorry, don't act like a bellend then. Royal Mail has announced a new redelivery process will hopefully save customers time and reduce carbon emissions. The postal company will automatically redeliver parcels that were initially missed the first time posties attempted to deliver them. But Royal Mail said, "Please note, you will no longer be able to collect your parcel after the first delivery attempt. You can't actually collect your parcel until after we've made an automatic redelivery attempt the next working day, excluding Sundays and public holidays. If customers are not in the second time the parcel is being redelivered, posties will leave another something for you card informing them that they can reschedule their delivery to a more convenient day, deliver to a neighbour or a safe place, or, of course, deliver it to your local post office. And, not forgetting, collect your item from the depot, which of course we all just love to do, don't we? And why has Royal Mail made these changes? Well, apparently it's to save customers time by not needing to visit a collection point, and of course removes any carbon emissions as a result of the journey taken by car or public transport to collect the parcel. Here we go, banging on about carbon emissions again in the environment and all these woke things that companies want to do nowadays to be seen as they're doing a good thing. The thing is though, what they surely haven't thought is if they have to redeliver it a second time and the customer is not in again, then isn't that, wasting carbon or diesel? And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not like he's on a dedicated round, is it? If it's a big parcel, they come in the vans, don't they, to your house? So you'd think that would be exactly the same as us using our car, which probably is more economical than their van, to get to the sorting office or local depot or whatever you want to call it and pick up a parcel ourselves a day earlier rather than having to wait 2 days. And I don't know about you, but if I have to wait one more day for my penis reduction kit, my girlfriend is going to be pretty mad. Although, to be honest, she reckons you can't see it anymore. But anyway, who knows, maybe Keir Starmer's borrowed it instead. But of course, that aside, whatever Royal Mail decides to do is probably going to be a lot better than in this video with Tesco's, let's just say, unwanted delivery, which, to be honest, I would be pretty angry about. Anyway, subscribe for more and I'll see you in the next one.